Hi, everybody. So we are going to be doing body number 2, the body paragraph number 2 for our Encanto lottery essay. That being said, you should have already, if you're watching this video, you should have already watched the introduction and body number 1. If you have not done that, please X out of this video and go watch those, whichever ones you've missed. If you are ready to get started, I'm going to go up here to our directions and read what we are supposed to be doing for body number 2. Body number 2 is supposed to be about sacrifices in both stories. Now, remember, these stories and the sacrifices that their characters make are very, very, very different. Okay. So that's why this is a compare and contrast essay. That's what that means, similarities and differences. So in the second body paragraph, analyze how sacrifice is portrayed in both stories. Discuss how the concept of sacrifice, whether literal or metaphorical, affects the characters and contributes to the overall message of the story. So when something's literal, you are taking it exactly the way that it means. When something's metaphorical, it means it kind of symbolizes something or is an example. So if we go to our topic sentence, we're going to do exactly what we did for body number 1. But this time, instead of taking the conformity part, we are going to take the make sacrifices to fit in part. So I'm going to go ahead and copy up here. So in both The Lottery by Shirley Jackson and Disney's Encanto, tradition pushes characters to, I'm going to copy and then paste that. And then I'm going to copy make sacrifices to fit in because we've already created our majority, at least, of the outline for conformity. So we don't need to talk about conformity. This is not about conformity anymore. I'm going to change it to match the color. That's not the right color. The color that it's supposed to be, which is this one. Okay. So now, in both The Lottery by Shirley Jackson and Disney's Encanto, tradition pushes characters to make sacrifices to fit in. That's all good and well and whatnot. Now, you're going to notice we have something we did not previously have. We did not have quote introduction up here. But the reason why I have that is because we need to specify how the sacrifices are being made in each of the stories. So you remember from the last one, this first 3, because it's identical, there's 3 here and it matches right here. These first 3 should all, again, be about the lottery because that comes first. These second 3 should all be about Disney's Encanto. And then our conclusion sentence, just like the last time, is about both of them again. Okay? So if we're focusing on the lottery, we need to think about the sacrifices in the lottery. Well, these types of sacrifices, remember, it was death. The person who won the lottery died. They were stoned to death. So this is one of those examples that the text or the prompt, I guess, was talking about where they said literal or metaphorical. We could say right here in the lottery, the term sacrifice is used in a violent sense. So we need to italicize the lottery because, again, that's our story. Like I said previously in every single video up to this point, you do not have these controls like I do because I'm on a MacBook, you're on an iPad. But up here in the top corner of your iPad, you'll have an A. Click on the A, highlight the word you're trying to italicize, and then you'll click the I. It'll look just like this. You'll even see the bold and underline options next to it, but you just want to italicize, which basically just means that you are tilting the words to the side because that's our story title. So in the lottery, the term sacrifice is used in a violent sense. What I actually want us to do, and this might feel a little bit funky to skip around, we are going to type a very, very, very similar sentence for our quote introduction for Encanto. But again, it's going to say Encanto. And in Encanto, I wouldn't really necessarily say that anything was violent in Encanto. Yeah, there were some quick and scary scenes kind of, but it's a kids movie. More of the sacrifices that the people in the family had to make were emotional sacrifices. We talked about how some of them didn't get to fall in love with the people that they wanted to or act or live the way they wanted to. That would be an emotional sacrifice. So we could say in Encanto, let me spell that correctly. In Encanto, the term, no, we do not want to underline that. I am so sorry. Got to get myself together. In Encanto, the term sacrifice is used in an emotional sense. So those are very similar sentences. They just are showing that there's a difference. One is violent, one is emotional. And I think we can all agree with that. So the next thing that we need to do is very, 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 very similar to up here in body number 1. We said in the lottery, transition, and then we had like a filler space for whatever our evidence was going to be, and then Jackson number, sign, and then close it. So very similar to that, but it would be really, really, really repetitive if we said in the lottery again, because we just said it right here, so we made it clear what we're talking about. So instead, we are just going to say transition, because we're going to fill that space in, I promise. Oh no, my goodness, what am I doing? Okay, let's see. Got to figure out my controls. Transition. And then we are going to say nothing, pretty much for right now. We're just going to put a blank here. And then Jackson, number, sign, period on the outside of our parentheses. Okay, always, always, always do that. So then, let's see. Let me make this format just a little bit prettier. There we go. Our analysis, we can't put anything because just like up here, we didn't have evidence. We don't have evidence still, so we can't put analysis because there's nothing to analyze. So very, very similarly, we are going to do the same thing for Encanto, but we don't want to take the Jackson part. We are going to put Bush and Howard, comma, 2021, because that's what we did last time with the period at the bottom, just like how we did right here. Okay, but again, we're not going to say in Disney's Encanto, in the lottery, because we've already stated which story we're talking about in our quote introduction for this paragraph. Again, no analysis. We can't have one. We don't have any evidence yet. Eventually, we will do this as a class. Right now, we're just, again, like I just keep comparing writing in English class to formulas in math class. Our conclusion sentence can be very, very similar to our body number 1. Body number 1, remember we were talking about conformity. So both stories show how conforming to a group, while easy, can have negative results. For this one, we're not talking about conformity, we're talking about sacrifices. So start it out similarly. Both stories show how sacrifices, whether physical, that would be the lottery, or emotional, that would be Encanto, affects individuals and their communities. Okay. Keep in mind, communities doesn't just go for the lottery. I know in the lottery, the whole community would be making the sacrifice, but also in Encanto, if you think about it, the community that lived around the Encanto, around the house, they also were very concerned about the well-being of the Madrigal family because they relied on the magic from them. So when we say communities, we're not just talking about the lottery, okay? I am actually going to go ahead and include, because it's just one sentence, I am going to include the conclusion on this video because it's just one thing. It's very quick, very short, very easy. What we're going to do is we're going to always start our restated thesis statement with as previously stated, because we've said it before, and we're going to put a comma. Then the easiest part about the entire essay, all you have to do is scroll up to your original thesis statement, copy it. That's why we said as previously stated, paste it, and then we're going to edit. We need to make sure that the I and in, it's no longer starting the sentence. So we need to make sure that it is lowercase. Okay. So as previously stated, in both The Lottery by Shirley Jackson and Disney's Encanto, tradition pushes characters to conform and make sacrifices to fit in. Now what we're going to be doing over the next day or so, maybe the next class period, depending on our timing for this, we are going to be finding evidence to fill this in. We will likely gather multiple pieces of evidence, or maybe there is really just one really good piece of evidence that we all need to use, but everybody is going to explain it differently because all of you have different value that you bring to what you and how you explain something, I guess I should say. So a lot of your independence is going to come in with the analysis. So up to this point, we've done a lot of this together. So I'm hoping that you're feeling better about the amount of writing that you're having to do, because if you think about it, we just did all of this together. A lot of this was given to you very stress-free. essay writing shouldn't be stressful. You're going to find that as we start writing in the future, this is the same outline that we follow no matter what our topic is. So, that being said, as long as you have all of these things, you are good to end this video, and we will go ahead and start talking about the evidence as soon as everybody gets through with this formula idea on their outlines. Thanks. Bye.